Then of course, medium of instruction up to the graduation, few students are preparing in Hindi medium, few students are preparing in their regional languages of Telugu, Kannada, Marathi. Then naturally you are writing your exam in English. This is one reason, but of course, it's not that if you are from Telugu medium, continuously you will be there with the Telugu only. Something that you need to make an effort to see that how you improvise your English. Of course, how to improve the English is a separate session by itself, but few things that I can share with you is start reading Hindu editorial, go to a spoken English class of your city where spoken English is being taught, how to do it and all. Then naturally over a period of time going on reading the magazines, business related magazines, naturally your English get improved. Nobody got the birth with all expert English and all, it all comes out of the practice only. But if somebody is coming from English medium, what the effort that they need to make, maybe 150% of that you need to make once you are coming from a Telugu medium or any other medium other than English. But don't go on crying that somebody is from English medium and I am from a Telugu medium, so that is the reason why I am failing. You have to improve upon. Then not lack of proper communication skills reflected as poor standard of language in paper. See, try to understand, friends, I am not saying that ultimately your papers gets valued based on your presentation in terms of the language and all, but what is most important is even if you are not with good English, what you are writing, communication should be proper. That is, what you want to tell it properly. Don't use big words which even the examiners are not well versed with, valuers are not well versed with. Use simple language and try to communicate properly. Then the most important thing is, somebody was saying that I am working in a very big firm, I get only 2 months of the leave. In those 2 months of the leave, I read for 16 hours to pass CA. This is all humbug, false. Try to understand, friends. Our health will not permit us to read more than 8 hours. If somebody says that I read more than 8 hours, they are only fooling themselves and fooling all the people around them. Because don't count on number of hours that you are sitting before the book. Count only on those number of hours where the concentration is there on the book. Concentration is most important, and don't go on postponing that. Daily my friend is reading 4 hours, but I skip for 3 days the reading. On the 4th day I am reading 16 hours. What your friend is doing is correct. Daily concentrating 4 hours is correct. Then not regularly studying and then trying to what you call read for 16 hours. A simple example like, can you eat 4 days meal once? Daily why you should eat? Skip eating every day and then try to eat after 4 days and do it like that for 6 months. Will your health accept such kind of phenomena? No. Then why your exam will accept such kind of phenomena? Regularity is most important, not that 16 hours I planned at the end. Then no effort to identify and correct the mistake. This is not only the reason for the failure in the CA exam. Reason for failure in any aspect of our life is, as a human beings after we cross 18 years, when some failure comes in our personal life or professional life, first before we take advice of somebody, address to yourself. Don't you know the reason for why you are failing? Definitely every human being knows what is the reason for the failure. what mistakes that he has committed or she has committed. But the problem is what? Not able to rectify those mistakes. I know many number of students who are failing in an accounts paper. It's not that entire accounts they don't know. They know 6 topics, there are 18 topics. Immediately after the results, again they start with those topics only which they know very well. And second time also what they do is, they leave 4 or 5 topics on the pretext that since these are being tested in the last exam, they will not come in the next exam. Is that the institute is giving you a promise that once some topics are tested in the last exam, those topics cannot be tested in the next exam? No. But then why you are doing that? The trend analysis and all. No trends. These are the chapters for May, these are the chapters for the November. Nowhere we kept like that. And don't get into such a kind of analysis. When I said you have to make analysis of the previous papers, that does not mean that you analyze for the May attempt what topics are more important and for the November attempt what are the important topics. No such thing with CA. So, don't spoil your physical and mental health by studying for 14 to 16 hours during the last month and unnecessarily thinking about the consequences of the failure. This is most important. See, some student who is a very good student of mine is continuously failing for the past 4 attempts. I asked him, what is the reason? Sir, I get lot of tension when I go to the examination hall. What kind of the tension you are feeling? If I fail, what will happen? If you fail, what will happen? You will write one more attempt. If I fail, what my parents will say? They will say nothing. Even if they say, that is not wrong. After all, they want you to get out of this phase. So on that pretext, they are saying that read well, concentrate well and pass at the earliest and all. But other way around, they are not going to kill you. After all, they are your parents. Because most of the anxiety comes not with the actual problem, but with the perceived problem. What somebody else will say. Forget about somebody else. Forget about the failure, consequences of failure. Again, I have to yearn for 3 months and read for 3 months, sir. Why you think all this nonsense in the examination hall? While preparing on any particular day, if your preparation is not well, at that time you think about the consequences of the failure. But not when you are there in the examination hall. Don't think, if I fail, what will happen? Nothing will happen. You will come again and write the exam. Some of the students will say, by coming to me, sir, this is my last attempt. Although institute permit 5 attempts, this is my last attempt. What is this? Why you are making such a conclusion? No, sir, I already told to my father that if this time I don't pass, I will go to the employment. Why you need to make challenges like this, which will create tension within yourself? As a human being also, don't do challenges like this. Take the things as they come, make an effort to succeed, keep yourself cool. These are the things which you have to practice as a human being first of all. Then you are giving a challenge. See, take the challenges, don't give the challenges. This is a personality improvement which you should always get into. Yes, even though I say that this is a personality improvement technique, as a human being, I also do some mistake. Like, before I do something, I will try to tell some about that to somebody. But of course, the objective here is that if I tell to 2 to 3 people, naturally it creates some sort of moral responsibility in me to achieve that. But do it with those people who don't exploit your weakness. See, ventilators should be proper. In the life, selection of the friends is most important thing. If you try to ventilate your problems or your ambitions or aims with somebody who exploits on it, It's not correct. So most important thing in the life is selection of the friends who will improve your confidence rather than will pull back. Then no effort to identify and correct the mistakes, and then how one should get out of the failure. Yes, we understood the reasons for the failure, discussed upon it. Now let us understand how one should get out of failure. First, identify the requirement in terms of the each paper, what you need to do so that you will pass. Then preparation for the theory subjects, I will try to elaborate on it. How do you need to prepare for the practical subjects, I will also elaborate on this point. First, identify the requirements. First, as far as material is concerned, first you be clear with what material you need to. Of course, what material you need to is the study material of the ICI, and then suggested answers from November 94 to May 2008 or November 2008, and then revision test paper. Of course, these three comes from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and Chartered Accountant student newsletter is also most important. 12 editions before your exam, 12 editions. You just take and try to read them, because most of the important things which are favorite hot topics are all being well discussed in the student newsletter. Scanner. Of course, I am not a marketing person for the scanner, but friends, try to understand. Suchitra Publications, a scanner, there is no substitute. Generations together we are using this book as a what you call guides, or as a direction showing mechanism, that you have to just open the scanner and look at all the questions which are being tested from that particular topic, then you start your preparation. And then teacher wise, of course, try to understand a human being don't have a choice in respect of two things. You don't have a choice of the parents. You don't have the choice of the parents. Can you select your parents and can take the birth? No way. Of course, you may say that I have got a choice of selecting my teacher, but I can accept that it is true only to the tune of 20%, not to the tune of 100%. A teacher who is a very famous teacher, very good teacher, you are going, but his way of teaching may not be suitable to you. There is no universally good teacher, try to understand. That's the reason why if somebody says that, sir, we are coming to you because my friend told you will give a good lecture and make us to understand the concepts. Don't get away with your friend. First attend 3 days. Yes, my way of teaching is acceptable to your friend. Not universally I am an acceptable teacher. Right. But what I am trying to tell you is the general qualities which a CA teacher should have. Of course, you cannot go and ask any teacher, sir, do you have these qualities? Because Mr. Chakravarthy asked us to test these qualities in you before we join you. Not possible. That's the reason why I am saying having good parents, not that who gives us wealth, who gives us the basic amenities and the basic character and morals which they explain, that is a fortune. Similarly, having a good friend is a fortune. Having a good teacher is a fortune. Having a good principal is a fortune. Of course, we get fortunes. We are also equally capable of spoiling our fortunes also. Don't spoil your fortunes. Right. So, teacher, according to me, is a one who can explain the concept properly. Friends, let me share with you one experience of me. I came to the Twin Cities in 1995. Searched for a job, then all those jobs were demanding 12 hours of my work. So I thought I will not be able to finish off my final if I work for 12 hours. But still I want money. Then I approached a degree college, women's degree college. Still the memory is afresh in my mind. There are about 120 students, women's college it is. I came from a town, Warangal. There the behavior of the girls and the behavior of the girls in the Twin Cities. I thought that like what my friends in my degree college and my place, here also girls will not open their mouth. So with a confident thing, I asked students, I delivered lecture for 2 hours, now I want your opinions. I thought nobody will tell any opinion so that I can happily pass on. There are 30 hands. Sir, we will express our opinion on your lecture. Of course, the one thing one girl told continuously is there in my mind, and it will also be there in my mind throughout my life. Sir, for you to become a good teacher, please keep in this point in your mind throughout your life as a teacher. Don't try to explain a concept on which you yourself don't have the clarity. As a community of students, we are in a confusion. Don't try to throw us into confusion by explaining a concept on which you are not having a clarity. And try to explain the concepts, sir, problems we ourselves will be able to do. If we are clear with our concepts, problems automatically we do. You do problems without explaining the concept, then a new problem comes, we are out. Don't do this throughout your life as a teacher. That really went into my mind, and I always tried to see that first I get more clarity on the concept before I tell something to the student. So try to have a teacher who explains the concept, one who identifies the high yielding areas. Why you need to go to an experienced teacher for any subject is, let us suppose I am there into the teaching of advanced accounts for the 15 years, past 15 years. By this time I know what are the high yielding areas which I can share with you. It's not that you will not be able to know, but it may take time for you to identify the high yielding areas, whereas by going to a expert faculty you will be able to get all those high yielding areas. Of course, again let me tell you friends that what the teacher says, for you to understand it will take lot of time, that this is the high yielding area, and you will be able to feel it only when you start writing the exam, by which time it is too late. So most important thing in any relation, parent-children relation, teacher-student relation, wife-husband relation, is the trust. Boss-subordinate relation also is the trust. Without a trust, any relationship cannot go. So that is more important in case of a teacher-student relationship. What your teacher says should be accepted 100%. Then only you will be able to succeed. So the teacher should be able to tell you what are the high yielding areas. Of course, I can tell you these are the requirements not only from the point of the teacher, from also from the point of the student also. Conceptual understanding, able to identify high yielding areas. Take away one who explains, one who identifies, take away. Even if you are making a self preparation also, you should have the conceptual clarity and you should have the idea of what are the high yielding areas. And then one who has got the experience, one who reviews your preparation. This is also most important. You attend among 700 students, that do not make any sense. You should go to a teacher who has got a time to review what you are doing, because in any exercise what is most important is a review. Whether it's a professional work, whether it's a relationship, or whether it is an examination preparation, what is most important is a periodical review. So the teacher should also have a time to review what you are doing. Then who tests your understanding, that's periodically he keeps a test and evaluate your paper and tell you where you are doing the mistake. Of course, how many modern teachers have got the time to do that, that is a different issue. That's what I am saying. Even if you don't find a teacher like this, take away all one who, but take the remaining part of the sentence. And then one who has already passed the phase which you want to complete. When you are preparing for the CA exam, going to a teacher who is already a qualified chartered accountant helps you in what way? Because he has already passed through the trauma or the phase that you are passing through. Naturally, he will be the one who will be able to tell you how to get out of that particular phase successfully. Then friend. After the teacher, the most important person in our life is the friend, because 50% of the failure comes because of the friends, selection of the wrong friends, and without friend also it is not possible to pass. Who is a friend? One who is also preparing for the CA exams. Most of the students here stay with MBAs, MCAs and employees. Don't get into that group. This part of your life, you are going to write the exams, CA, try to have a friend who is also preparing for CA. Then one who listens patiently what you explain. This is also most important. Of course, you should also listen to him, but see, generally we make friendship with whom? Who listens us? Patience is most important thing, listening is patient listening is also most important thing, which I addressed in the beginning of the lecture. Then one who discusses what he has studied. Generally what will happen with any friendship relationship, bad friends will be like what? They will study and they will make you as the tool for their relaxation, and they will say कुछ भी नहीं पढ़े, कुछ भी नहीं पढ़े और वो पास हो जाएगा. कैसे होता वो? Some of the successful students also will try to not share how their success came. They will say कुछ भी नहीं पढ़े, वैसा थोड़ी जाके एग्जाम लिखे पास हो गए. I don't know how I passed. When I failed, I don't know why I failed. When I passed, I don't know how I passed. This is humbug. Everybody knows how they passed. And what to pass, I explained you well in detail. That revision and practice test. Without that, you cannot pass any professional examination. And then one who encourages you. This is most important part. The one who discourages you, don't do any friendship with them. Knowing well this mistake, many of the students will do. Effort should be there in the life. Why? What kind of effort you are talking about? Once a friend of us is not talking with encouragement and all, try to find out another friend who has got that quality. It is your failure not to identify. It's not his mistake he discourages you. His nature is that. Then preparation for theory subjects. How do you start your theory subjects? Like, make a novel reading of the topic in study material. Just go through the topic, have a novel reading. Some of the students will come and say to me that, sir, we are not in a position to understand this, because right from the beginning we are with simple sentences, one word sentences and points which we have in the guide or the teacher's notes. whereas this is in the paragraph form, we are not able to follow and we are not able to understand the connectivity and all. Still read. In your first reading itself, you cannot get 100%. In your first reading, you get only 30%. In 3 or 4 readings, you get the comprehensiveness. Moreover, the aspect which is discussed in the first topic, the clarity may be given in the 5th topic. So, unless you go through the entire thing in a novel reading, it is not possible. Then open the scanner, rewrite all the questions which were tested earlier. With this exercise, what will happen? One will be able to identify the areas to be concentrated. Of course, sir, just now you explained this is the task of a teacher. Yes, again and again I am saying, you are a professional student, don't wait for the teacher. If you find a teacher like that, it's okay. Otherwise also you need to prepare and write the exam. So do this exercise so that you will be able to understand what are the high yielding areas. Then observe the examiner's comments. Which areas students are failing? Because those areas you need to concentrate more so that you will not do the failure. Then prepare your notes. Notes should be point wise and precise. Don't copy the entire content of the study material or the textbook. Your own notes means what? It should be in the concise and what you call precise form and with points. So that by looking at the notes, you will be able to elaborate the things in the exam. Then check whether you can revise the topic in 3 to 5 hours. This is most important. Let us suppose bonus act. In the first time, it may take 7 hours. Second time, it may take 6 hours. By the time it comes for the third and fourth time revision, you should be able to revise it in 3 to 5 hours. And over a period of that revision, in 1 to 2 hours it has to come. Because the gap between the exam and exam is only not 1 day, 1.5 day now. So there will be about 15 to 16 hours. In that 15 to 16 hours, entire subject need to be revised. Don't test while writing the exams. Do it before, which is most important. Let us suppose today I started the classes. Somebody want to join us. When they should look at these premises? Yesterday itself, they need to come here and just check where it is, so that sharp 6 o'clock they can come. Other way around, what will happen? Still they can reach the premises today also, but not at 6 o'clock, but at 6:45. I think all of you are able to understand what I am saying. See, on the day of the event, don't prepare. For that event, prepare early. So, check whether the entire corporate laws you are in a position to revise in 1.5 day. Other way around, improve your preparation to see that that comes within 1.5 day. Then prepare the list of questions which are to be referred before exam. This is also most important. Students do not do the necessary homework of what they need to revise during the examination days. That is really making them to feel tensed. For any event, you have to prepare and do it. If you don't put all the questions which you want to refer before exam, this refer before exam notes is most important thing. One has to prepare. Don't take that refer before exam notes of your friend, please. Because you should feel that this is what I am going to revise and I am going to write the exam confidently by revising these questions only. This one has to identify. Of course, in the first stroke you will never be able to do it. Over a period of time, by writing the practice tests, by making revisions, then you will be able to identify the list of the things that you need to keep in your refer before exam notes. Then identify the areas not tested so far in the exam and give a reading. See, what is important for the CA exam is what is most repeatedly tested and what is not tested at all. Of course, with this total you will be studying. See, what motivates me as a student always is, first I will try to cover all those areas which are tested and repeatedly tested. Then I will open the study material. Are there any other areas which are left out? Somebody was saying, sir, valuation balance sheet in insurance company accounts is not tested for the past 10 years. So do we need to concentrate on that? Please do concentrate on that only. This time they tested. After almost about 10 examinations, now they tested this. So what is most important is what is tested most repeatedly and what is not at all tested for the past 10 exams. Then discuss complicated issues on a topic with a friend of yours who is also preparing for the exam. See, income tax, corporate laws, unless you discuss with your friend, you go on reading and all, there is always a chance of you are forgetting. Whereas if you are making a group discussion, friends, try to understand, with CA students one problem is there. Of course, this problem is not of this generation. Right from the day I am preparing for the exam, the same problem. We invite our friends to our house for group discussion. All of them sit like this and they will say, Chakravarthi, you start. And every time Chakravarthi only will explain. Ultimately, who will pass? Chakravarthi only will pass. Rest of the people will be listening. Of course, there is a failure for Chakravarthi also. That is, Chakravarthi invites 6 friends of him. He will explain Bonus Act and Partnership Act. Then one more group of 6 friends will be there. He will also call them just as a matter of exhibition to tell them that he is preparing very well. Again he will explain Bonus Act and Partnership. That means what will happen? The topics of their easy topics, what they feel, they will prepare well. They will listen from you the difficult parts and they will pass, and you will be continuously with the same topics, and again you will have new friends and explaining the same concepts. Don't do such a mistake. When we talk about group discussion, equally give the opportunity to the others also to speak. Other way around, you will be the loser. Or other way around, for a different group of friends, you discuss different topics, then also you will pass. But out of the 18 topics, I am the master in 6 topics. I will go on explaining to everybody who comes to me all those 6 topics. Then you are becoming a semi-teacher and not a professional. So whenever we say group discussion, it should be done with utmost caution. That's what I am saying. Sharing is most important. But sharing means what? They are giving something and we also share something from us. Sharing does not mean that what you have, you share it without taking anything from others, which is not correct. Not only for a CA, for any part of our life. Then the next issue is take a model test for 3 topics at a time and a full scale test before the exam. This is also most important. Every 3 topics you just, not that all the topics I take the exam. Because this is what you are doing for the right from the childhood. Unit tests, assignment, small portions you are covering, so that overall n number of times the revision happens. And then for the practical subjects, the preparation part is, let us suppose it's an accounting subject, hire purchase, departmental accounts. These are all special topics. There will be some specific journal entries. Write down them at one place and first understand what for those journal entries are being passed, and then make a list of it. And there are some specific procedures which are there for a particular problem, and identify those specific procedures. Maybe one problem will not differ 100% from the other problem, but procedurally there could be a difference between the 2 problems. Try to understand the specific procedures. And then a topic like cost and financial management. There are some areas in cost and financial management where if you remember the formula, the answer is there before you. So keep all those formulas at one place in your refer before exam notes. And then problems which you want to do again at the revision stage. See, try to understand. Let us suppose there is a topic like single entry. In the first stroke you did 40 problems. by every day spending 2 hours for 8 days. Next time also in the revision, if you are doing 40 problems, what is the meaning of you are doing in the first stroke 40 problems? While doing 40 problems itself, you try to understand which problems are similar, which concepts are similar, so that you identify those problems which are representative of those 40 problems. So bring down that 40 problems to 10 problems and then keep them into the revision module. But this one has to do on their own. It's not that your friend's revision module can become a revision module for you. Make it on your own. Don't go to your teacher and tell that, sir, you please prepare my teaching module. This thing, which one? Revision module. Then theory questions earlier tested from that topic and answers to those questions. See, one prepared very well the departmental accounts. Ultimately, a question that came in the exam is write about departmentalization of expenses. And the student comes out of the exam by crying that I spent so much of the time on departmental accounts. I never expected that a question like this will come. Why you are not expecting? Open the scanner. Is it a surprise that you want into? No. You should have gone through the scanner. In that particular topic of departmental accounts, what are the earlier theory questions tested? Because every question, every mark is important in passing. Then, unless we prepare revision notes, revision becomes difficult and state of confusion continues. Again and again we are stressing on this point that your own notes is most important than the expert faculty notes or the study material or the textbook or the guides. Your own notes, the memory part is more. Handwritten notes is more better than the type or printed notes. Only till such time your handwritten notes gets prepared, you have to live with the study material or the faculty notes. Once your notes gets prepared, you take away all that. And then do all the problems from study material and suggested answers. Yes. Don't get into any selective kind of thing. See, sir, shall I do with this book or that book or that book? My only suggestion is any book you follow, first and foremost important thing is your success comes once you completely do that particular problems in the study material and 20 examination problems. With that all the concepts automatically gets covered. Any other textbook reference is only for a practice. But without doing the problems in the study material and the previous 10 years 20 examination questions, you are only dreaming to pass and not going to pass. After you do the problem, look at the suggested solution. Don't look at the solution and then look at the problem. This is a bad thing. So first do it on your own, fail and try to learn from that failure. Try to see what the working notes that you prepared, what is the working notes that is there in the suggested answer. Then only you can improve upon. Then identify the concepts learned in the topic and rearrange the questions according to the concepts. This is also most important. Right from the day I am doing CA course, the common cry of many of the CA students is that, sir, we got used with the standard textbooks. In a standard textbook, the concepts will be tested in what way? From a easy concept to the difficult concept. But in your CA study material, what will happen is, a problem which should have been discussed as a third problem will be there as a 17th problem. A problem which should be discussed as a 17th problem will be discussed as a third problem. Of course, I also asked once a chairman of the board of studies, why you prepare a study matter like this? In a lighter spirit, what he said is, Chakravarthi, these are all professional students. Nobody will arrange them all the things and give it to them to express their opinion. They have to struggle like this. They have to arrange the most disturbed things. Let them start with the studies itself. Right? And my own personal advice is, never criticize the institute. Institute is like a mother. If you are criticizing the institute, it is as good as criticizing your mother. Criticizing the mother means criticizing our own existence. Can you criticize your own existence? So, most important thing is you should always have an admiration, love towards the institute, and we are all part of the institute. Try to understand what value additions we make for improvement of our institute. Even in a depressed situation of failure also, don't say that institute failed you. You failed because of lack of preparation. This is one thing that always should guide you, because at the institute level, never we are enemies to you, never we intend to fail you. Your bad presentation made you to fail. Back to the point. Take model test for 3 topics at a time and full scale tests. Now we get into the golden tips on the day of exam. This is also most important. So far we travelled with how do we prepare. Now on the examination day, see why all this way of presentation is coming is, with my 12 years of experience as a teacher, I identified the reasons for the failure. Reasons for the failure comes because of lack of preparation, lack of confidence, and bad presentation and bad preparation on the day of exam also. That's the reason why you have to also take care of that exam days. First thing is, write the question numbers clearly. See, try to understand all these points are not coming from my mind. That's what at the beginning itself I told. This is not my original idea. This is a copied idea only. From where you copied? I copied from the examiner's review points. I copied with my own experience as a valuer for professional courses. See, you will all feel that we wrote very well, still failed. But there are n number of corrections that require to be made before you pass. As a valuers, we are facing a lot of problem while valuing the papers. The general cry of all the valuers which are given in the examiner's review points, first thing is students don't write the question number clearly. We want to value the answer sheets, we don't want to get questions. See, you write without giving a proper number to the what you call the question answer to which question, then I have to search this answer is for which question. That means you are increasing my effort, so I have to take some reward for it and I have to punish for that. So try to clearly write the question numbers. Begin each answer from a new page. This is a standard instruction which is given in the what you call your answer sheet, but many of the students do not follow this. You have to start your fresh answer from a fresh page. Write your answers in the points and underline each point headings. Friends, please remember, underlining should not happen with pens which will have a glaring effect, because we are valuing the papers at 11th hour, 12th hour of the day, night. It should not affect our eyes also. You point out, you make underlines of all important points which you want to tell us that you know. But as a paper valuer of professional examination, I found many times while valuing the papers, exactly what should not have been brought to our notice is being underlined, which otherwise would have left our sight. Student will underline that, which makes him to get less marks. Only when you are confident, write note. Otherwise, a wrong thing need not be put in the form of a note. Right? When you are double confident on a particular thing, put it in the note. Other way around, don't write the note. Even while preparing the notes to the accounts also. Unless you are double confident of it, don't put anything in the notes to the accounts. Because the purpose of giving anything in the notes is what? To give more clarity. And quote relevant sections and case laws to add the value to your answers. But again, this comes with a caution that your wrong quotation of the any section will lead you to the 0 marks. Do not get disheartened for having spoiled one paper and don't spoil the whole group. Try to understand, this is a professional examination. Even a successful student might have spoiled 1 or 2 papers of that particular 6 papers. Spoiling in the sense, see, you are writing an exam. That paper came difficult. All the students wrote in the same way as you are writing. So, don't evaluate your performance immediately after the exam, because you need to prepare for one more exam. See, always have a feeling that you did your best. Leave the rest to the valuer and wait for the results. Because many a time it is an experience to all of us who successfully completed the CA exams, is that what the papers we thought well presented, we got 48. What papers we spoiled, we thought we got 58, 62s also. So your job is only to present. It is somebody else's job to value. Don't declare your result before institute declares your results. Attempting maximum possible and not leaving anything would also go a long way in enhancing the final score. Try to understand. Insurance claims is our topic for the PCC. There is a clause called as average clause. That average clause here also really matters. 3 hours of the time is given for what? For you to attempt 100 marks. A student is attempting only 75 marks in 3 hours. He is getting, say, about 60 marks. But in my opinion, he should not be awarded 60 marks, because his counterpart is using that 3 hours of the time for writing the 100 marks. This fellow uses these 3 hours for answering only 75 marks. So proportionately, his 60 marks will be brought down to 48 marks. Try to understand that time is given not for you to selectively write. But at the same time, again, this suggestion also goes with caution. On a pretext of writing 100 marks, don't write stories, because this is a professional examination. But try to plan out your presentation in such a way that within that 3 hours of the time, maximum possible questions you answer, and give the answers according to the marks. You know well what are the places where the PAN number is to be quoted. That question came for 2 marks. There are 10 places where you need to quote your PAN number. All the 10 need not be written. For 2 marks, 4 aspects if you write, that is enough. But student, for the 2 marks, he will write 3 pages answer. Are we going to give you 6 marks for a 2 marks question? Not possible, na? According to the marks, you try to plan out this thing. That and all comes only once you start writing your practice tests. It's easy to say, difficult to practice. And then compulsory questions are usually difficult, so it is better to answer them after you are through with easier ones. Sir, how we will be knowing immediately after sitting in the examination hall which is easier one, which is difficult one? Again and again I am saying, this identification is possible only when you write the practice tests, which is easier one and which is a difficult one. You start writing the practice test, then you will be knowing which topics are difficult for you, which topics are easier for you. You go on doing it till the exams, and then exams will also become one more revision test. You don't write any test and take the exam, then lot of surprises will wait for you. Generally compulsory questions need to be answered. First question, compulsory question, generally will be difficult, so try to put the same to the faggots. And moreover, try to understand, at this juncture, I need to share with you one more important aspect. What is it is, some student in 1.5 hours is able to write only 30 marks. Now he feels tensed. In the next 1.5 hours, I will be able to write maximum 30 more marks, so I am going for a failure. But this is not correct. It is a general human tendency that human brain works fast in a tension situation. Of course, positive tension should always be there. Negative tension should not be there. Tension is also of two types: positive tension, negative tension. Negative tension kills, positive tension improves your skills. There is a gap from here to there, say about 7 feet. Now somebody is coming to me and saying that, sir, if you make a jump of this 7 feet, I will give you 3 lakhs. Will I try? No. Because I pretty well know that I cannot make jump of 4 feet. Where is the question of jumping 7 feet? But suddenly a situation came. There are 2 hills, in between there is a gap of 7 feet. We are there to a hill station. All my friends are somewhere else. Suddenly a tiger came. Nobody is going to give me award for making a jump of 7 feet. But to my surprise, I could able to take a jump of 7 feet. And the tiger which tried fortunately fell down without able to take that 7 feet. Why? Why that happens? Because in a tense situation, our energy levels, our skills will tend to get improved. So try to understand, within 1.5 hours you wrote 30-35 marks. That does not mean that in the next 1.5 hours you will not be able to write remaining 65 or 70 marks. It is a general human tendency, like when you come to some place, you will take at least 20-30 minutes for you to settle down to what it is. So also that happens in the examination, like CA also, that you go to the exam, it will take 20-30 minutes for you to settle down with that paper. So meantime your productivity levels are less. So all these things, once you start writing the revision test and observe, make all of the observations which I am saying now, that definitely improves your confidence level. And then the next aspect of it is, as far as possible, avoid the discussion with your friend after the exam, as it may result in confusion and tension and thereby reduce your confidence for the remaining papers. Already this point also we discussed, like don't value your papers or allow others to value your papers immediately after the exam. There is no point in it. You have to prepare for the next day. Forget about that paper and write the next exam. After all, you are going for the examination to know where you stand. If you are not able to stand in the success path, at least failure should be a respectable failure. Attempt should be till the end. Sportsman spirit should be there. Even a losing game should be fought till the end, to know at what respectable level we failed. So write all the exams, because in our CA examination only this peculiar feature is there. Because of this aggregate 50 marks, individual 40 marks, some people evaluate their performance in the first examination itself and then don't go for the second and third. By the time the last exam comes, 50% of the halls are free, because students, 50% of the students declared already their results, which should not have happened. So try to see that, don't value and don't discuss your paper with your friends. Ensure always to note that number of additional sheets used in the cover page to be written on the main book. On the main book also, you write down what additional sheets you have taken. Other way around, what will happen? By any misfortune, if the tag which you are making is misplaced, then there is always a chance of that additional sheet going away, and even after a very good performance you may get a lesser marks. But these are all 0.01% chances, because there are a number of occasions as invigilators of the professional examination, we notice students going out of the examination hall without properly tagging it, giving those 3 papers to us, where a number of times we ourselves tagged it properly. The students, considering that we are also students at one point of time, we can understand what the tension in which you are. Then, but it is your responsibility. My saying that we will tag it should not lead to your throwing onto our face the additional sheets and the main answer book. Proper care, because we as teachers have got experience of some good students coming to us crying that they failed. We also don't understand why they failed, because in all the exams which we keep at the academy level, they are getting good marks. We cannot expect, because somewhere something went wrong. He is not attaching properly the additional sheet, or writing the number on the additional sheet. That also we will take away those additional sheets on which you are writing your number. Please don't write your number except on the place you are marked for it. Other way around, what will happen? That is against the instruction which is given, so we will take away your additional sheet. Don't write your number on the additional sheet. Vicious circle, this is most important. Of course, on this I already explained. You are not writing the exam, you are not starting your preparation immediately after exams will lead to the vicious circle. What is this vicious circle? Aiming at passing and waiting for the results without continuing the studies, getting a negative result, going into depression, again aiming for both groups without correcting the mistakes, and that leads to another failure. Be positive. See, again and again I am saying, it is easy to say all this, difficult to practice. So don't take this as a preaching thing, like I am preaching something to you. These are all motivating things kind of thing. The heights by the great men reached and kept were not attained by a sudden flight. There is no shortcut for success. There is no flight that takes you to the heights. You have to climb. And most of the people who are successful are the one who are awake when their counterparts are sleeping. Of course, Swami Vivekananda said, never lose the faith in yourself. You can do anything in the universe. Awake, arise, and stop not till the goal is reached. Thank you for patiently listening.